All right, and now we're going to turbocharge your copy. Now we're going to do the workouts. This is also, I think, can I see your, do I have the SOBOC in green? No. Ooh. Ooh. In orange? Okay. Thank you. The copy critique checklist. Thank you. Okay. This is the Scannability opening body, offer, and close. This is one of the ways that I got through figuring out the blueprint really, really quickly. And this is one of the things that I teach in the copywriting bootcamp. If you've taken it, it's like how to start chunking your copy up. And these are the 5 aspects that make a big difference in the reader if he's going to get it or not going to get it. And one of the things that people do is they scan. 79% of all internet users scan first. And this is an old statistic. This is a couple of years old. Jacob Nielsen, who does studies on web usability, had put that out a few years ago. It may be even higher because we're even busier. We have more information in front of us. But people are going to scan your copy, so you've got to write it to meet that. It's going to be scanned. They're going to scroll down like it. They're going to look. Thank you for asking. When you're online, you're looking at one screen, and your sales letter continues on the way down. So they're going to scroll all the way down, and we're talking about a sales letter without other navigational buttons. But this is good for the clarification. So they'll just scroll down and see what catches their eye. And if you look at like the copywriting blueprint over here, you don't see copy in here. You just see what you can scroll down to see. Did I like burn people's eyes out?
I do too.
Oops. Sorry. Sorry. So they're going to scan. So plan for it. The opening is the most important part of your copy because, like I said, if they're not going to read the opening, they're not going to read anything else. And the body is like the nuts and bolts. That's where we have the, actually, I can come over here. The nuts and bolts of, sorry, what you're all about, what your product's all about, the features and the benefits, the FAQs, the bullets, all those kinds of things are, thanks, Luann, are that's the body. That's the main. Then at the bottom is the offer. Where'd you go? Right here. The offer. We're about 2/3 of the way down before you address the offer. But sometimes when people are scanning, they're going to go like right to the offer. They want to know how much it costs. And so you want to have that offset, and we'll be talking about how to do that. So you want to make sure that that is a standalone piece of copy all on its own. And finally, the close, like what are your final arguments? What are you going to do to make me take action? So I'm going to go through those in a little bit more detail real quickly. And you can follow along in the binders because there's some samples of copy as well. And then there's some samples that I have up here, which you won't be able to read, but it'll give you an idea what I'm talking about. Scannability is, they need a complete understanding of the copy. So if they're just scrolling down like at 10, 20, 30, 40 miles an hour, they need to understand by reading those subheads and the formatting that you're going to use. And I'll teach you what formatting makes things pop and what makes it fade into the background. It makes a difference. They need to understand exactly what's going on. This is a concept called parallel tracks. It's like a train. When you read the main tracks, you understand the whole copy. And when you go deeper, that's when you get the goodies. That's when you get the details. That's when your real buyers are going to go deeper. The key phrases are going to pop out. You're going to use bold. You're going to use highlights. You're going to use parentheses. You're going to use italics, different types of formatting. But you're not going to use them all at once and make it crazy. You're going to strategically put the formatting in there so your key phrases pop out. So as I'm scooting down the page, I get what you're talking about. You're going to have strategic white space too. This is the opposite of the key phrases popping out. You need to have white space that's easy on the eyes. That's what bullets are going to do for you. That's what, if you do a frequently asked question list, that's what that's going to do for you. You're going to use one thought per paragraph. You're going to use small sentences so they're easy to read. And you're going to break all the English rules because they don't work in copy. You're going to have white space that makes it easy to follow. So that's what you're going to basically look for in the Scannability. This is, I know you can't read it, you don't have to. This is a student of mine who was in my boot camp. She was selling for her client a speaker's handbook on how to organize your office. Actually, very good product and something that a lot of people need. There's a huge need for it. But this is the copy that she showed me, and she couldn't understand why it wasn't working. The formatting makes a difference. All I did was add a headline and some white space. The copy is very similar. I changed a few things around, but again, I know it's very small for the screen, but it's mostly the concept I want you to get. We have bold, we have bullets. It's just easier on the eye. Make it consumable for them. It's going to make a difference whether it gets read or not. Scannability. The opening. We're going to spend a lot of time working on the opening. Actually, more toward the end of the workshop, believe it or not, because the opening is where you have to get a little more creative, and it's where people look at that blank page and they go, "Oh my God!" And so we're going to do a lot of the nuts and bolts stuff first, and then we'll get to the opening. Although we will have our target market identified, that needs to be identified right away. I need to know if this is for me or not. Do I need to keep reading or not? If you don't let me know, if it's not clear, you may lose me. So make sure that you identify your target market. One of the things that I do, if you notice on the other letter, I like to do to identify my target market is to put like a pre-head above. Like that one said attention speakers or attention entrepreneurs. It's almost like a throwaway headline, and it identifies who it is that you're talking to, but it doesn't detract from the main headline. So that's just my little fun copywriting trick. Got to have a powerful headline. And you need an enticing hook. You know, if they don't read the first sentence, they're not going to read the next one. So you want to get them hooked in right away. Headline templates. I'm going to jet through these. We're going to have a whole headline clinic. And how-to headlines are very, very popular. If you look at magazines that are in the grocery aisle or Cosmo, Men's Health, any of those. Reader's Digest, amazing for swipe files, which we'll talk about too. But people want information. They want to know how to do something, how to look younger, how to be healthier. That's not a great headline, but it's along those lines. How are you going to help them? What information are you going to impart? If you have this problem, then we have this solution. This is a real good example of what Dan Kennedy calls problem, agitate, solve. You let them know they have a problem. You kind of stir it up a little in the copy, and you solve it. So this is an example. If you're looking for one convenient source for all your business needs, then we offer a huge selection of office supplies. That's just an example. If you have scars, I keep focusing on yours because I know it so well. If you have scars, then we have the solution for instantly erasing them. I don't write headlines mentally. I have to write them out by hand. That's my process. Using a number, you could see this a lot, like a quantifiable number. 7 easy ways to save money on groceries without clipping coupons. 5 ways to lose weight. 11 ways to get traffic to your website. So quantifiable numbers, again, we love lists, and we like knowing that there's an end to that list, that we're going to get 11 specific solutions, or 12, or whatever that number is. Actually, odd numbers do work better. Usually 3, 5, 7 is a good number, or 12, or then when you start getting into like 20, 30, 40, those kinds of things, 100 or 101. But for some, 6 ways to do something that it just doesn't have the impact. And what I was told is I don't know if this is so or not, but it's just about balance. Like if you think of a three-legged stool, It's just about balance. It feels right. So those are some templates. We'll go over those deeper later. Now the body is the features and benefits. We're going to be doing some exercises around that, and the frequently asked questions and bullets. These things are all contained. They're the description of what it is that you're selling, what it is that you're doing. And you also want to overcome objections. You want to meet the conversation that they're having in their mind. And you want to build your credibility. You're going to do that with testimonials, with success stories. The features and benefits exercise. The features and benefits exercise. This is how I start my copywriting process. You have a feature and you have a benefit. All right, this is an example I've filled in. It's probably too much at once, but this is the sample I use a lot is with just a red pen. How am I going to sell you this pen? Well, what are the features? The feature is the adjective of this pen. So it's a feature. It describes what it is, what it does. It's and I have them all listed down here, down on one column, and then I have a corresponding benefit in the other column. We're going to actually do this exercise a little bit later, but some of the features are: it's red, it's durable. It's not going to snap into. It's got waterproof ink, and so what? Like John Carlton was saying, well, so what? It's a red pen, big deal. So I have to make it exciting somehow to you. And so one of the things that I do is I connect the benefit, which is how it's going to make your life different. And I use those words, you can see they're highlighted, so that. So when you have a feature and you put the word so that, it does what? And then you automatically fill in the blank. You can't help it. So it's a red pen, so that what? And I wrote so you can find it easily when you get your $1 million ideas in the middle of the night. So this is easier to find than a blue pen, so that's a benefit. It's durable, and so what? It's durable so that it doesn't snap in two and leave permanent stains in your Gucci handbag. And it has waterproof ink so that it doesn't smear from water on the kitchen sink on your phone message. See, each one of those little things, I actually kind of created a little story. You can choose to do that or not when you're doing your benefits and you're doing your bullets, but it makes it more interesting to put it in their life somehow. And again, we'll be doing some exercises around that so you can practice it in your own business. The offer. The offer is exactly what they get for the money. Okay, I'm going to give you $10. What do I get? I want to know everything. I want to be very explicit. Is there a guarantee? If there is, it should be strong. It should make me want to hop off the fence if you're going to have a guarantee. It takes all the risk out of the off the buyer. Yes?
How important is the guarantee? I mean, what if you, well, maybe this is the right time for this question.
We will actually discuss it a little bit more. There's this whole section on guarantees and bonuses. There's a difference in service-based businesses and product. So we will cover that a little bit later. And it does come a lot, actually. Bonuses, are you going to have them or not? It's up to you. But I have to warn you, if you're going to have bonuses and you put like $4,000 worth of bonuses and you're selling a $29 product, it's just unbelievable. And people, it's actually going to do you more harm than good. So you want to be careful about your bonuses. And you want a call to action with the offer. You're saying, this is what you get for your money. You get X, Y, Z. So get off your butt and order it. And I'm going to show you some ways to do that. This is just some examples of how I overcame some objections, some common objections. I'm not going to bore you with the whole reading of this, but what I'm going to tell you is the main objections that people have is that it costs too much, it takes too much time, or it's too hard. So in general, those are the main objections that you want to make sure that you overcome. Here's where I have to bring up the old adage, it's not going to cost you money, it's going to make you money. So I'm telling you it's a good value. And we'll cover some ways, again, later about how to overcome those objections. The close should summarize the offer. It's one more time, one more nudge, one final push to get them to take action. The final call to action. and it should have a compelling PS or a compelling postscript, or, as I learned from Dan Kennedy, a series of 3 compelling postscripts. You know, in the old days when you used to write a letter, you couldn't go back up on the computer and change because you wrote it by hand and you would tack a postscript on. So it's really kind of not a necessary thing. You could, of course, go back and stick that information in, but we still have this habit of going to the bottom and reading the postscripts. As I said, it's the second highest read piece of copy that there is, and so it's a really fantastic place to put some compelling things to remind them again of what it is that they're getting. Okay. That's what I call workout number 1. It's learning how to critique other people's copy so you can start getting better, or critiquing your own copy. That's how you break it down so you can build it back up. You break other people's copy down so you can build it back up. So that's one of the workouts that you can do. When I was learning how to do all this stuff, I would write, I would find copy that I liked. I like Gary Halbert quite a bit. He's at thegaryhalbertletter.com. I like John Carlton quite a bit. Linda?
Gary is adamant about it should look like it's on a yellow piece of paper. Gary Halbert's newsletter looks like he ripped it off of a yellow pad of paper and it's typed from a typewriter.
Yes.
And that's it. And I don't know if you can address that.
Yeah, that's Gary's style. Gary comes from real offline marketing before he ever got online, and he carries a lot of those habits with him. And some of them work and some don't. But funny enough, most of them are coming back around to working, whereas before it was all the, Flash. Remember when Flash was big, but you want the movie and all those kinds of things. But now, yeah, the simplistic stuff like he does that gets right down to it is much more popular. Kat?
Lorrie, I don't know if it's too early to ask. Oh, sorry, thanks. I don't know if it's too early, but hopefully you'll address it at some point. If you're trying to get multiple sales of a product, do you want to address that on the same sales letter page, or is that a no-no? Because then you're giving people too many choices of saying, well, if I get the one product, I'll get all these bonuses. But if I order 10 copies of this product, I'll get all of these bonuses. Is it more of a distraction, or do you upsell them later and say, hey, by the way, order 9 more copies now that you've ordered the, if you could address how can you increase multiple orders?
Gotcha. Yeah, we'll have to get to that a little bit later. I'm still trying to do the overview stuff. Thanks, though. Remind me if we don't get to it. All right, so that's one of the things you want to do is break down other people's copy. Find, I was saying with Gary's stuff. I would actually copy Gary's letters, like word for word, and that's a really great exercise to getting into the mind of a copywriter and getting into the rhythm, because there's a certain rhythm that you get into when you're writing copy, and you almost like get it by osmosis when you start copying it down like that. And then you pay attention to where they hit the bullets. Where do they put the FAQs? Where do they put the offer? What kinds of things are they doing? So studying the masters, which is actually one of the other workouts I'm going to recommend, but studying the way they break down their sales letters and studying the way other people in your market do it, and also for building your own from the bottom up. This is the recommendation I have.